Hello chess friends, today we're going to look at the modern defence. Now this video is going to go through some of the main ideas for black, and it's going to be aimed at probably 1400 to 1800 players. By all means, people rated higher and lower than that might find it useful as well, but the idea is to give us a understanding of what the plan for black is and the plan for white could be, and whether you like the ideas in this opening or not. So firstly, I will say that I am not a hardcore modern defence player. Okay, so I do play it sometimes in Blitz, but I don't think I've ever actually played it over the board in a long game, so I have to admit up front that I am no expert in this opening. But the modern defence, let's get into it. Starts with, obviously, white needs to make a move, so let's say we get d4 and then we get g6. Okay, and then from here white could continue with classical development, c4, bishop g7. Okay, so the idea is with the modern is we're immediately just going for this fianchetto of our kingside bishop to put pressure on this pawn and this diagonal. We're not trying to get a stake in the centre with the classical moves d4, c5, d5, c5. Okay, so we're just letting white have carte blanche to do what he wants in the centre. Okay, so next move, say white continues the classical development, knight c3. Now here is a critical point. So black has got a ton of moves that they could play, and as you may well know, this position can transpose into lots of other main lines. So here black could just play knight g6, or they could play, if it wanted to, could play c5 if you really wanted to, could play d6 if you really wanted to. I mean, you could play e6 if you wanted to. I mean, really, you could play anything you want here within reason, knight h knight h6 if you wanted to do something really out there. I wouldn't say that's a standard line, but I mean the main line moves would be probably, that would be opting for a King's Indian type setup, or you could go d6, keeping your options opening. Maybe you want to play f5, e5, knight f6, something at some point. We could just play f5 straight away and go for like a Dutch type position. I mean, that's what's very appealing about the modern defence, is that it gives you a complete free rein to decide how you want to respond to white. Now the downside of that is that by letting white do whatever he wants, that he could end up with an incredibly strong centre. So let's just say we go for d6. And white could just play e4 here if it wanted to, or just continue as normal. Let's say at some point you decide to bring your knight out, and then really here we're getting into King's Indian territory. Okay, so are you prepared to play a mainline King's Indian as black now or not? That's the question. I think that's one of the things you need to ask yourself if you want to do if you want to take the time to learn the modern defence, and you do want to play it seriously, you probably, although I think mistakenly a lot of amateurs think that they can just play it against anything, you do need to know some subtle nuances in the transpositions that can occur, because if you don't, you then find yourself in big trouble and getting crushed very quickly. You could say that, you can't say that about every opening. It's going to be obviously, whenever you fianchetto your kingside bishop, in a blitz game, you could just get something, somebody trying to do something really brutal. So you just say black carries on like this. I mean, this sort of position, it shouldn't work. It should be, it's totally fine for black. With good play, you should be able to defend it. But I mean, and I'm just demonstrating, the fact that let's just go for something like, the immediate exchange here. I mean, this, you know, I know that this shouldn't be any issue for black at all, but I'm just showing you with passive opening play, if you're not careful, you can end up with all sorts of problems. I'm just purely trying to demonstrate some sort of attack down here. You can see it's going to get uncomfortable here. The knight's going to come into play. The pawns are going to come down, and they're going to end up opening up, opening up the position at some point. So, it's tricky. I'm literally just moving. So I mean, that's yeah. What I've played here is incorrect because obviously that's just my queen. But my point is that you do somehow have to be prepared for some hack attack on your king side, potentially. Somebody just trying to do that and just literally hack your position to death as early as move 5, for example. So it shouldn't be a problem, because if it was a problem, people wouldn't play Finke out of their bishop and play modern defence at all. And there's some very notable players. I think, is it Tiger Hill Pearson? He's a GM, a pretty famous GM that plays it I think almost exclusively. I think he's written a good book on it. So anyway, let's just go back. So the other thing. So just going on about the opening transposition issues. So you have to realise that obviously if white plays e4, you're still going to play your modern defence no matter what. That's the point of it. Really, whatever white plays, you just play g6, and you're going to have your setup. Knight f3. We just get here, and say we get. You are just going to literally have your setup no matter what. And really, the question for you as black is always, what are you going to do at this stage, really? Is whether you're going to go into a mainline Sicilian, for example. You could play c5 here. You could play a d6 here again. But basically, are you happy to play a mainline Sicilian against somebody? Are you going to play a Pirc Defence as well? So try and get a classical Pirc type position. So we go here. We got our fianchetto going. Some people would say that actually, it's completely fine, this position. I'm just going for some sort of Pirc type position here, I think. I can't remember offhand, but you can see where I'm going here. And then you've got a choice of whether you're going to build and push e5 or c5. White's got a very comfortable position, can do what they want, and black has got his setup. But again, you have to accept that if you're going to play this sort of system type opening, that you will you just can't just stick to a system and be dogmatic constantly, no matter what white plays, or else you will just get blasted off the board. So it's up to you. Really, I think it's all about. You do need to know the plan. It's not like it's sort of labelled as a lazy man's chess opening, the modern, in these sort of positions. But really, you have to have, after about move, on your third move, basically, you need to have a plan. I mean, what are you going to play here? You're going to play try and play like some sort of Benoni type position. Are you just going to go like a classical King's Indian? Are you going to try and play like a Grunfeld type position? I don't know. So after you fianchettoed your bishop, your third move as black, you do have to have an idea of the plan. So also, you could get somebody doing that, and then are you just going to mirror them? You've got symmetrical English now. Are you okay with playing symmetrical English? And also, you could just get tricked into a move order. So So let's have a look here. You could have something like c4, knight, a bishop goes on here, and then we get e4, okay, and then here you decide to play, I don't know, I'm just going to check it out, say c5, and then you're going to get like a potentially a Morozzi bind. I think actually it'll be knight c3, Morozzi bind type position here, which you may or may not like, you know, which is supposed to be better for white slightly, but I mean it's not, you're not going to lose or get blasted off the board by it. But you could find yourself, for example, playing something incredibly sharp, like obviously you could transpose into something like a dragon. So we get here, are you happy with that? Let's just say you go here, and then we go here, and then we go here, and then here, and then I'm just going for some sort of standard dragon setup here. Is it here? Is it here? And then we're going to get castles probably, and then the queen comes here. So basically we've got here is probably one of the sharpest chess openings in chess theory. So if you're happy to play this sort of position, then that's fine. But like I say, you know, like, as you can see, white's just getting an attack. You've got to be prepared to play this sort of position. Are you strong enough tactically? Have you read enough theory on it? I mean, this is not to say you can't steer the positions away from these type of lines, but what you don't want to end up with is an inferior version of a main line against somebody who really knows their stuff. But I mean, there's loads of scope to do things here. I mean, say we get, you know, white just plays classically. I mean, you could just ignore it, do a double fianchetto if you wanted. You know, why not? Okay, let's see what the computer says. It's better for white, but that's a computer, you know. D6 already, you know, it's not far off being equal, is it? Really, and you could say you probably got your opponent out of book. But again, it can turn very sharp. So my thoughts are that generally I think the modern is a good defence. I think it is worth learning. I actually like yeah, I do like the surprise effect of the modern, because it's not that it's I think it's something like the 4th or 5th most popular defence actually, which is still quite popular, but it's not a main line used all the time. But it is sound. It is worth learning. It will teach you a lot about many different openings, and it is. I always feel that it's useful to play a new opening. You should always play new openings, all of them, even the ones you hate, because that's how I got a lot better. It's just by playing all the openings I hated. I had to just suck it up and get on with it. So I would say that you know, the main openings you'll get, you know, obviously e4, d4, c4, and knights f3 are the most popular openings, but probably, you know, e4, you have probably got to be, you need to know the Pircs, and you need to know a bit of a Sicilian. Now here you could just play c5, and then he pushes the pawn, you fianchetto, and we've got like a very well-known Sicilian hyper-accelerated dragon type position, which can be a bit tricky. You know, you need to know some theory there, but I mean, you know, it's a game. But yeah, I mean, you know, from this position here, white can transpose into lots of different openings, and you do need to know some theory. So do not make the mistake. I want to make the important reiteration that by just playing the modern, you can sidestep all the theory for about all the other openings and just you know, bin it off. Really, if you want to sidestep theory, really, and force things from the beginning, there aren't that many lines available. You know, you could say something like Aliochen, I'm not sure if that was pronounced, something like that. You know, if you really want to make your opponent play out a book or play something a bit surprising for them, now that's not to say that it probably is just about sound still, but you know, then there's probably only 2 or 3 ways for white to proceed and really crush you and punish you. You know, this is one very well where the knight just gets kicked all over the board, and then you break out in the centre. So obviously the most principled reply is e5, or probably the most principled reply if you want to fight for an unbalanced position is going to be c5. Okay, if you want a solid but slightly passive setup, then you're looking at c6 Caro-Kann type thing, or Scandinavian solid but passive. But you know, e5 is probably the most principled reply. You could go for d6, which is sort of going for like again a modern type setup with your g6 here, or you can play a knight f6, and then e5. It's just like a, you know. So anyway, I'm deviating from our main topic. So what we're going to do now is shut this down and create a game as black, and probably just play some blitz and try and find a let's abort this game. Let's create a game. Hold on. I want to play, yeah, let's just go for a 3-minute blitz game as black, and see if we can get a couple of modern defences going. The way I'm going to play it, probably the first one, is as a way of getting into Sicilian hyper-accelerated dragon, and see whether we can enter it that way. But if we can actually get a game, may not get a game. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can. Let's just drop my rating level here. Let's try that. There we go. That's better. Right. Okay. So we've got dynamite pawn 170. So let's go g6. So he's gone from most principal reply to my opening, which is two pawns in the centre. So I'm going to go for now d6, and I'm going to go for develop my knight hitting this pawn. He's decided not to defend that pawn for some reason, so I'm just going to take it. So there we go. I'm just going to castle now. So I've got a pawn for nothing. I'm going to pin it and win it, as they say. I think I'll just take that. It's going to double his pawn, and then we'll drop this knight back. So yeah, so he wants to exchange my dark square bishop, which is completely fine. I'm not even going to stop him. That's okay. So I'm going to break the centre open with c5 now. He may push that, which I don't think is a great idea because he's blocked the line of his bishop, but I guess so that's, I'm just going to attack this bishop, which is also threatening to fork his queen and his king there, which would have been quite nice. He's obviously seen that. So my plan now really is there any tactics here actually? I need to get my queen in here, I think, somewhere. That's what I'm feeling. So I'm just going to. He might try and push my. So he wants to bring his rook across, which is fair enough. Sensible idea. So if I bring the queen in here, I'm threatening to take this pawn. I'm also threatening to win this piece. Okay. So pawn check. And knight takes pawn. So I could take knight takes pawn check, which is hitting the queen before I capture that, which is threatening mate. So then I get a check. Then I can recapture that after. So before. Am I missing any tactics there? It's pretty much forced, really. So check. And now we can recapture. And now exchanging queens is wonderful, because basically I'm just collecting lots of pawns now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I haven't lost a pawn. And it's quite a few pawns down. So really, this should be just completely and utterly won for black, as you can see. There's probably a better way of proceeding. I'm going to play in here. If he hits it, I'll probably come back in here. Do I want to come back in here? I think I'm going to drop it back. I'm going to come in here. I want this, I want my knight on this E5 square. So he wants to try and smash open the B file, get some counterplay. So I've got this weakness here on this backward pawn, but after I've hit that rook, dumped my knight in here, I've got to defend this pawn. If he defends it with the rook there, then I fork both his rooks, so it's going to be a problem. He's up on time, so he's got a good 30 seconds on me. So he's just going to let me. Is there any tactics here? So I'm just going to take that. I'm threatening to take that pawn. I don't think I've ever played a game where I've still got 8 pawns this far into the game. It's a very unusual game. So if I take that pawn, I'm threatening to come in there and fork both. But he'll probably, yeah, okay. So we can come in here. So now really I should just line these rooks up and just blast these pawns straight through. He's obviously not having a great day at the moment, to probably resign yet. Okay, so yeah, that wasn't a fantastic example of modern opening, because he didn't play very well in the opening. We can have a quick look at that. Yeah, I mean, he just blundered a pawn straight away, which is a bit of a shame on move 5. Yeah, it wasn't very good, really. Let's create another game and see if we can play another 3-minute game against somebody, and just have another look, and hopefully somebody won't blunder a pawn so quickly and make it such an easy win for me. Quite a few people on tonight. I would have thought there would have been a quick pairing there for a 3-minute game. Strange. So yeah, okay, we've got something. Oh right, 19-15. So this is going to be a lot tougher. So there we go with our bishop. So now I've got a choice here. I could play E5. He's played the English. I think I'm probably going to go for a symmetrical English setup here. He hasn't played his knight yet, so he could be wanting to play F4, but I probably doubt that. Maybe I'm wrong here, so I'm just going to go. Right, so he's this is like the chameleon, is it, or something like that? Well, actually, no, pawn wouldn't be on E3, would it? I'm not quite sure what this line is. So what am I going to do here? We're going to try and break in the centre, I expect. Yeah. Here we go. I think this is a pretty well analysed position. So as you can see, I've got a reasonable position here. There's no problems. Stop that knight coming in. He wants to exchange my bishop. I'm gonna Just put my rook in there. He might play bishop h6 anyway. So now I'm just gonna. My plan is. What's my plan here? Let's just go for a classic. See whether I can. What can I do here? I've really got a lot going for me. Slightly cramped. Can I play b5 here? That's a question. Let's just see. I think we're going to have to. It's getting a bit. He might just push his pawn. If he pushes c5, takes, then he captures with the bishop. Then this bishop is hanging, but I still win. No, I don't. Just got the rook on it, so it's a bit of a problem. There's a tactical issue there. If he pushes the pawn, I can't capture straight away. I must do something about it. He's having to think. Yeah. Oh, okay. So he's gone for it. I was quite surprised. So I think I'll just put this back here, hitting that pawn. So I've got a little tempo there. So if I kick this knight, I can kick that knight away, and I've got a nice little fork here, hopefully winning his dark square bishop. Yeah, that's quite nice. I think. So I now have my monster of a dark square bishop, and unless I'm missing some crazy tactic, is there anything better here? Before I take it, I just take it. I'm winning a pawn there as well. Don't know if his position doesn't look too great. Actually, I'm threatening his pawn. I'm threatening this knight, but I am down 40 seconds, so I'll just snaffle that off. I think I probably need to be a little bit careful here. So ideally now I want to drop my queen in away. Actually, I forgot. I can't go there and exchange it because I really need to exchange queens. It's a completely one endgame, I would say. Surely it must be completely one for black here. I'm just going to steamroller my pawn down the board. Probably just. I've got his pin here. God, that's the strongest. That's an incredible bishop. He wants some counterplay, so it's fair enough. Have we got anything on here? Am I missing something? I think we're just going to keep pushing. That was a blunder. Actually, I just forgot you can take that pawn. Oh no, he can't because of the rook issue here. Yeah, so he's just lost the exchange there. He can drop it. Oh, he can't. Can he cover that? We've got to be a bit careful there. There's still a blitz game, and he can still smash me. So he's just. I think we'll just check that there, and then we'll just have this off. So he's lost another pawn. Has to be completely lost, I would say. I'm threatening to queen now. I don't think he can do much to stop that. It's completely lost for white here, and I'm ahead on time. He's probably going to try some desperado tactic on me now. We should resign now. I can't see anything here. I can't see any queen. So just got to check here. Just going to take this pawn. That's okay. Right. So this. Oh, he's resigned. Okay. So he just resigned. Well, that was lovely, wasn't it? So, let's have a look at that game. I'm not saying that. So he opened with c4, and we had. Let's just go to the analysis board. So I transposed on move 3 to the symmetrical English, and this worked out quite nicely actually. I don't really know. It's white is equal at the moment. I'm not quite sure about this move E3. I suppose it obviously wants to play this type of setup. And I've just gone for a pretty, there's nothing really special about this position. I'm a bit cramped. He's obviously gone for classic line-up exchange my bishop type jobby, and I've just gone B5 in the middle. It wants me to play, see the computer want me to play B5 straight away here. White's better. Yeah, well, slightly better. Got a bit more space, I think. But black's solid. Didn't like that move at all. Of mine, so I got away. What was the punishing move? Wanted me to punish me with that D5. So that might have been problematic. So I can just hop my knight. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's just getting a bit tricky, really. So anyway, he played H3, which I think was a mistake, which allowed me to play B5, and then he should still play. And after we exchanged bishops, which was I have no idea why he exchanged bishops there. I mean, this bishop's on a lovely diagonal. It's not doing any. This knight is pretty pants. It's going to be cramped any moment. So he takes, and then he plays. But the computer doesn't like that. So he has to lose a tempo protecting that pawn, and then I get to win his. Yeah, computer likes that. That's fantastic. I mean, that's incredible positional edge. So even though materially I think we're completely equal, the positional advantage that I get here is incredible. It absolutely loves my position. It's giving me +4 nearly. Goodness me. I mean, yeah, it's just being destroyed. So there's not much point in looking at this any further. I think this is pretty over here. I did semi blunder, but I mean, when you're -7 as black ahead, it doesn't really play that accurately. I was slightly fortunate with that. But I think when you've got a good position, sometimes these things just occur. These tactics don't work, and you just end up with a great position, and almost anything wins. Anyway, so that rounds up my modern defence video, and if you like that, please comment and subscribe and share it around. Any comments or questions, please leave them on YouTube. Thanks very much.